Hi everyone, I'm Marvin Plackett and this is Thursday, March 26th. Greetings to residents, staff, and everyone watching. First I want to give a shout out to Karen at the Gardens and Jess at Episcopal Church Home. They do a terrific job in life enhancement services as well as their team members. You know, their world has changed a whole lot since we can't gather in groups, and they're doing the best they can to make sure that we have really strong programming in life enhancement services, which is so important when social distancing is also a requirement. So a shout out to all those in life enhancement. Just a quick reminder, my daily stream is live on channel 6 at 1:30, and that's so that at 2 o'clock you can always be watching Governor Walz. And then by 2:15 or so every day, this is posted to our website, episcopalhomes.org, and on social media. Pleased to report that once again we have no confirmed COVID-19 cases here at Episcopal Homes. At Episcopal Church Home, we have one resident that is being closely monitored and is in quarantine, and we have one staff member that is not being scheduled for 14 days out of the possibility that they have been exposed, and so they're simply not being scheduled. We have at the Gardens, we have two staff that are in isolation, once again for 14 days, to make sure that they are not, we don't know whether or not they have a case, and if they do, that they would not be spreading it. And then we have two residents at the terrace that once again are not displaying symptoms, but out of exceptional caution, they are in self-quarantine. So once again, no COVID-19 cases on our campus. Very pleased to report that. I just came from a meeting at Cardi Heights, and it was really a very enjoyable experience, seeing a number of residents there that I hadn't seen for some time. And what was especially reassuring was how seriously everyone took our current circumstances. Everybody in that room made sure that they sat at a minimum of 6 feet apart. Everybody was very respectful. Their questions were spot on in terms of, well, what about this situation or that? Can we do this or that? Genuinely wanting to look out for their neighbors, wanting to make sure that they're doing their part in executing the requirements that we have put in place now for the last few weeks. And so that was encouraging. It was uplifting. And it's not easy, is it? It's not easy for any of us. When I saw every one of those residents come into the room as we gathered, kept our distance, I would have loved to have gone up to everyone and give them a big hug. And that's what they all said, yes, that's what we wanted to do to you too, and so forth. You know, I enjoy hugging. And the people in that room, they said, boy, we miss that. And we do. You know, I haven't shaken hands with anyone for 3 weeks. And here at work, I haven't touched anyone for 3 weeks. I keep my distance, and so forth. And it isn't fun, and it is difficult. It's not normal, is it? And yet that is what we must do. We have to sacrifice in these ways and in many other ways that we've articulated. Sticking to your communities, staying within your zones, keeping your 6-foot distance, washing hands frequently, making sure that if you feel any signs of illness, that you are self-isolating to make sure that you're not spreading anything. On and on and on. They're not easy. They're not fun. It's not normal for us, and yet it is vital that we do these things. I would like to end with a quote that someone sent to me yesterday. This quote is from Professor Brené Brown. She is a professor at the University of Houston, and she's the host of a podcast. This pandemic experience is a massive experiment in collective vulnerability. We can be our worst selves when we're afraid, or our very best, bravest selves. In the context of fear and vulnerability, there is often very little in between, because when we are uncertain and afraid, our default is self-protection. We don't have to be scary when we're scared. Let's choose awkward, brave, kind, and let's choose each other. Again, a quote from Brené Brown. Now a message from Phil Rose, and see you tomorrow at 1:30.
Thank you, Marvin. I think we've been doing this for about a week and a half, and this has not happened. That was my quote. So I did bring two things besides the Brené Brown quote, but the other piece that I brought is from, it came from Barb Dennis in Cornelia, who sent it to Anne Green in the Terrace, who sent it to me. And it's a delightful take on Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall wash my hands. He makes me scrub down to clean skin. He leads me to hot running water. He restores my soap. He leads me in the ways of covering my cough for heaven's sake. Yea, though I watch through the valley of panic news media, I will fear no COVID-19, for good hygiene was taught to me. Lysol and sanitizer comfort me. You prepared a protocol for me in the presence of this virus. You anoint my head with essential oil. My cough remains covered. Surely TP and sanitizer shall last me all the days of this pandemic, and I will have peace in the love of the Lord forever. A delightful take on Psalm 23 with also some very good reminders for us. Be well, and I will return at 3:30 for Good Afternoon with Spiritual Life.